From Forex Traders Daily, this is your daily analysis with Ross Mullins, live from Richmond, Virginia.
Hello everyone, this is today's video analysis for May 30th, 2017. With the bank holiday yesterday, I hope you had a great extended weekend and are ready to get started trading this week. In today's video, I'm going to do a general overview of each of the currency pairs in anticipation of this week's trading, and I'm going to highlight some of the key levels that we will look for entry and exit opportunities. And as always, be sure to use appropriate risk strategies in all trade setups. Let's get started here on the USD CHF, the dollar franc. We have overall in the past 2 weeks, let's say 2 or 3 weeks, been in a bearish move. You can see the right hand side of the chart, the market falling from all the way up here into the 1.0100 level, all the way down into the 0.97 level, all the way down at the bottom into the yellow shaded area. Over the past couple of days, we've seen a little bit of a rebound back into resistance into the green shaded area. We've seen historically, and studied this in the trade room, resistance into this green shaded area before. Now that we've seen all that in the history, let's go ahead and zoom in a couple of times and you can see that movement a little bit better. Right now we're kind of stuck in this area down here at the bottom of the chart. The yellow zone again, 97 up to 97.30, and the green zone, 97.75 up to 0.9800 is the green zone. So green shaded area, not too hard to see, is our current resistance. Yellow shaded area is our current support. If we're going to sell the direction of the bearish momentum, the downtrend that we've had over the past couple of weeks, then we're looking for sells on rallies to resistance. Our first opportunity today would have been already the green shaded area. You can see the market coming up yesterday, touching it, today falling off of there. So that would have been your first opportunity to go short. If you didn't go short there, and if it doesn't rally back into the green shaded area, the next opportunity to go short is the breakdown of support, which is the yellow shaded area. So if you're looking to trade the direction of our current momentum, the bearish momentum, it's either the green zone or under the yellow shaded area here for the dollar franc. The risk here in this scenario is that the market changes direction, goes back above the green zone, and starts turning its way back higher again. If you're a buyer looking for a reversal of this downtrend, you're looking at the yellow zone as support, a break of the green zone, looks for it to go back higher again. Fibonacci top to bottom of this downtrend run that we've had puts the 236 Fibonacci retracement level at 0.9785, 87, somewhere in there, right in the middle of the green shaded area. 382 is closer to the 9845 level, the purple shaded area, and that happens to be our next area of resistance. Just a little bit lower, not too hard to see. We have several areas of support just underneath the dollar franc, or underneath the current support level, the yellow shaded area. And what we'll be looking for in the trade room is the reasoning behind the orange and the yellow shaded area later on today. Let's move on over to the euro dollar, and of course we have just the opposite here. We've been in an uptrend here for the euro dollar. We've seen some retracement back down into this green zone, very close to the black trend line representing the uptrend, and we saw the market dip its toes down into the 1.1100 level. That is the green shaded area at the top right hand corner. Let's go ahead and zoom it in. Fibonacci from just our last low in the middle of the black trend to the highest high, put the 382 right at 1.1104. That's the bottom of the green zone. Right now we're challenging back towards the 111.75 level, the pink shaded area. Of course, we saw over here on the left hand side that was a period of congestion. The market did push underneath 11.75, but I don't think it's a convincing break. It is underneath it, but at least at this point it doesn't seem like a convincing break underneath it. It is underneath it, but the inverse correlation over the dollar franc doesn't give me a lot of confidence in this quite yet. The pink zone is 111.75 up to 112.05. If it breaks back above there, we could be looking for this to rally back towards the highs and return the uptrend. I think the only real reason I'll think that this is reverse trend and it's going to go lower is if it gets under the green shaded area and the 1.1100 level here for the euro dollar. But the uptrend's still in place. We've had a little bit of retracement. We're now looking for the return of that upside momentum at some point for the euro dollar. Moving over to the GBP USD. Again, last week we saw the breakdown of our channel. The black channel was a rising black channel, was above the blue trend line. It was clearly going up for quite a period of time. Last week we broke down underneath that barrier, underneath the green shaded area, 129.20, 29.50. broke down underneath it significantly, headed down here towards the orange zone. Let's go ahead and zoom it in a little bit. The orange zone, clearly our significant barrier. Look back here, the green circle, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days finding support there. Really 6 if you count this candle. And went up. So now we're seeing the 1.28, 1.2770 level as our significant barrier of support here. And if we're going to see a return to the downside, it will need to break that barrier and the 12800 level. So it hasn't done that. It needs to break that if it's going to go lower. So far sitting above that as support. The yellow zone, we've seen historical support and resistance all along there. That's 128.70. Top of the yellow zone happens to be the 618 Fibonacci retracement level of this trend here from the, well, basically the trend channel, from the low of the trend channel back here where the black X is to the high. Put the 618 right at 28.67, and that's what we're challenging as resistance today into the top of the yellow zone. If it's going to go higher, it will need to break back above that 618 and the 28.70 level. Take it down to the 4-hour time frame. It doesn't really change any of that. We can see where we are right now within the trend. It's challenging above 28.40, which is our last resistance high here. So if it stays above that, we may be looking for further evidence of a breakout higher here for the pound dollar. Back underneath 28.40, which is that last resistance, we could be looking for another challenge of the orange shaded area. So some interesting things going on here on the GBP USD. USD CAD, blue trend line is the long-term uptrend for basically 2017. We've seen rises and falls and rises, and now we're currently in the fall phase, but we are finding support just above 1.3420, 34.45. The green shaded area, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days finding support above that green shaded area. So we want to pay attention to that and note that as long as it's above there, there is the potential for this to reverse and go back up, just like it did on the last red trend line. Found support, turned around, and went back up. So we want to watch for those opportunities. 34.45 is the top of the green zone. I think that's our best opportunity for looking for reversal. So if you're looking for it to go up, look for it to settle the green zone as support, break back above the yellow zone, the red trend line, and then we look for further reversal. If it's going to turn back in the direction of the downtrend, we look for resistance at the yellow zone or a breakdown of the green zone to be our clue that it's going to return back to the downtrend for the dollar CAD. And of course, we often look at oil prices when we're looking for a direction for the US CAD as well, and we'll look at that later on in the trade room today. Moving over to the USD or USD JPY, we had a fall, a rising channel, and now we're breaking through that rising channel. So the potential is here that we look for the breakdown of support and the return of the bearish momentum. Let's go ahead and zoom it in again. We saw again the fall, the significant fall, the rising channel. We studied this rising channel last week, and right now we're underneath there. So the question is, are we looking for the continuation of the downtrend, or are we going to look for a reversal? The pink zone is 110.85, 110.65. Right now, that is acting as our support. If it's going to continue to go down, that's what it needs to break. It needs to break this 110.65 level, pink shaded area, and then we'll look for further movement lower into the 110 or even into the 109s. If it finds support here today, we might look for another challenge of the orange shaded area before going down. That is 111.20, 111.45. But back above there, we might even look for the return of the uptrend. You know, we see the break of the channel here. I think also we could probably look at somewhat of a horizontal area as well. I'm just going to take a little black box here and draw it out like this. And I think we can look at somewhat of a horizontal level as well, the pink zone being the bottom of a range, the green zone at the top, 111.75.95 being the top of the range. So really, the pink zone's a key player here, and really the green zone is too. So a break of the pink zone goes lower, holding here, challenging the green zone. Above the green zone, we could look for the return of the uptrend. So whether you're looking at the channel, the breakdown of the channel, or a horizontal range here between the green, orange, and pink zone, I don't think you want to go short here unless it breaks down through the pink zone for the US yen. Take it over to the AUD USD. We saw the push above the black trend line last week. We saw it settle down into support above the green shaded area last week. We did push a little bit underneath of 74.45, 74.60 green shaded area, but now rallying back into it now. Staying above the black trend line is probably your most important aspect about this. If it stays above it, and I think getting back above 74.60 today, which is the green zone, we could be looking for the rally back towards the orange shaded area, at least 74.95, 7,500. Above the orange zone, we look for the return of the upside. Staying under the green zone, as we are at the current moment, we may look for resistance there, and any evidence of reversal to go back down would challenge back down towards the blue shaded area. Let's go ahead and take it down to the 4-hour time frame, zoom it in on this a little bit. Take a look. We are under the green zone. So that green zone is going to be your key player for the day today. Staying under it, we may look for the market to turn back down again in the direction of this little fall off here, or getting above it. The risk here is getting above 74.60. We turn back higher towards the orange shaded area for the Australian dollar today. So key player is the green zone today. And lastly, the Nzdusd. We've been challenging 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, now the 6th day, challenging the blue zone, 70, 45, 70, 60. So far, we haven't had a significant breakout. And remember, we've challenged this multiple times before. Just look back here at this blue circle in the middle. We've seen it, even both of them, 5 or 6 days, or even more at this blue circle here, challenging the blue zone, even getting above it before turning back lower again. So don't assume that this is a breakout. We want a real clear evidence of a breakout here. Let's go ahead and zoom it in. I'm looking at the blue circle on the far left. We see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 days just underneath that blue shaded area, eventually turning lower again. And then it challenged it again, 5 or 6 days, turned lower again, made a new low. So don't assume that this is a breakout. We want clear evidence. 100 period moving average sitting there as well. 70-60, top of the blue zone. If it opens and closes, that's the key breakout clue to me. Above the blue zone, sure, I think it's going higher, back to the purple zone. If it doesn't, and by the end of day today even, getting back under the blue zone, I think we're looking for the return of the downside back to the 7,000 level or lower for the New Zealand dollar this week.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.